This is Trevor Stasik, and I'm a listener from sunny Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a prospect researcher learning and growing in project management. I work for Make-A-Wish America, where we grant the wishes of children with life-threatening illness. Welcome to this video episode of the People and Projects Podcast.
Hey, this is Andy. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the People and Projects Podcast. Hey, I'm in downtown Chicago today. I'm getting ready to teach an MBA class on project management. And this is the season from June until early August that I'm teaching this MBA class. So it's got me busy with things like, prepping for the class and homework, grading and things like that. So it keeps me from putting more episodes out than I would like to. But despite what's going on, I'm sure it's been a busy time for you as well. I have to tell you, I am learning so many things, and it's on the personal and the professional side. And so I wanted to get a quick episode out just to share a couple of these. Perhaps it would be helpful for you as well. On the personal side, one of our sons just graduated from college, and he's just gotten a job down in Texas. So Chicago's home for us. And what's interesting about this is having a child move out of the house now. Some parents tell me, woohoo, we're glad they're out. And, I kind of get that, but not really, because, with all of our kids, we know that this is where it's headed, right? I mean, that's our whole job, is to launch these guys. And so I'm excited about my son getting this job, and it's going to be a good thing, should be a good thing. And we've got dear friends down in Texas that he's going to be by. So I'm not worried about him at all. But when it comes to an end of something, I mean, clearly there's going to be a relationship, right? But it's an end at this part of the journey. And we are faced with all kinds of ends, right? We have the ends of projects. We have somebody who's reported to you for a long time and now they've left. Clearly a big lesson I've learned is you have to end well. So make sure to always end well. And seeing my son pull away, yesterday, all right, so dad was a little weepy about the whole thing, right? So I'm a sap. But you know what? Can I just say that this is my job as a parent, is to launch, and your job as a leader at the end of the project or when someone leaves your organization is we're here to be developing people, to launch them to the next step. And so that was certainly something that helped me through that process. And can you just take it to heart that your job is to be maximizing the potential of the people around you, so that when they do go on to another team or off to another company, that you can rejoice in the good times you had, but also know that is your job, is to prepare them for the next thing. On the professional side, I'm prepping for an interview that's going to be coming up later this month, a book called Leadership and Self-Deception. And I had heard from somebody that it's a book that before someone gets hired at Facebook, they have to read. And so I thought that would be interesting. And I'd have to tell you, it's one of those books that you ought to get on your list. I'm about halfway through it. But kind of the main point is that we're all self-deceived, which, is kind of an interesting premise, because that being true, I have no doubt that it's true. But what's challenging about that is, since we're self-deceived, we don't think we're self-deceived. And, a number of lessons I feel like I've been learning over recent months from different authors is that we kind of live by a narrative, right? I mean, if that sounds too warm and fuzzy, forgive me, but there's stories that we're telling ourselves that just kind of help us explain the world around us. And my understanding of attribution theory is that we explain the world in ways that make us feel good about ourselves, right? So whether it's politics, whether it's work, whether it's how we explain things about people that we work with, we explain the world in ways that make us feel good about ourselves, right? So if something doesn't go well, we blame other people. If something happens in the world, we explain it in the narrative that we think, makes us feel good about ourselves. So in this self-deception book, what's interesting is they talk about when something happens, maybe it's something with the relationship. Well, we have kind of our self-serving explanations for why the other person is at fault, or why, well, I'm the hero here, or they're the villain. And it's interesting that we just aren't aware of it. And so the book is just trying to help open our eyes to the fact that maybe there are other ways of explaining what's going on. To me, it's just like this huge call for humility, that I'm not as objective as I want to be, and I'm too apt to blame others. I'm too apt to absolve myself of responsibility. And I want to tell you, if you want a book that's going to make you think, grab the book Leadership and Self-Deception. It doesn't give an individual author's name. What it says, the authors are the Arbinger Institute, and I'm looking forward to talking to the authors later this week. But get that on your list. We'll be talking about that in an episode probably sometime in August. Okay, so check that out. Well, I hope you have yourself a great week. Thank you for being a listener, in this case, a watcher of the People and Projects podcast. I love to hear from you. So send me an email. Let me know what you think. Maybe questions about this particular episode or a recent episode. And also, if you're on the project management side of things, check out the global conference that PMI is going to have in October. It's going to be right here in downtown Chicago, where I'm at today. And I'm speaking there. I'd love to have the opportunity to meet you directly. All right? So check that out. Well, I hope you have yourself a great week. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the People and Projects podcast.
This is Trevor Stasik from Make-A-Wish America. Thank you for watching this video episode of the People and Projects podcast. Have a great week.
All right, love you. Love you. Gonna miss you.